Alright, so the saga continues with this delete plug. One of the things I wanted to show you guys before we move on is this plastic panel has been completely removed, and I wanted to show you these plastic tabs. So these plastic tabs showed up in the previous video clip. These were the ones where I was pulling on. So let's show you here. I was pulling on it like this, and I noticed a plastic tab here. So I kept pulling on it. So these were the tabs that were holding the panel. And just to show you, up here, they were, this piece was up like so. This piece was up like so, all right? And I had to pull on it at the point of these tabs. All right, so I did need to remove this in order to remove the other piece that I will show you right now. Alrighty, so here is the inside of the hatch with that plastic panel removed. Okay, and on the other side, let me actually do this. All right, so there is where the delete plug is going to go. And on the other side of this is where the delete plug is going to go on the inside. So I need to remove this stuff and this motor. So I need to remove these bolts and this motor. To take this out, looks like I need to disengage this clip, and then I'll be able to have access to the underside to install the delete plug. Alrighty, so we removed that plastic panel, and actually what I want to do is, before I start removing the bolts from the underside of this part, I actually want to play with this. I actually loosened this guy already a little bit, but I want to show you just kind of the pieces that are involved in removing this thing. First we have this little pin, or this little kind of locking ring here. That needs to be removed. Let's set that here. And then under that is a washer. That needs to be removed. Let's remove it. There we go. Alrighty, so we have that and that. And now this piece can be removed, and I'll show you the socket that's necessary. So I already loosened it up, and then I used this guy here. What size is this? A 23. So this was a 23, and I was able to loosen it up like that. So here this goes. Okay, so this comes off. This comes off. And then this rubber gasket comes off. So now you have this. And you see basically the hole here. You see how this just can kind of get pushed down. So now I think I can remove the underside stuff. But first I'm going to put this kind of in its order. Let's lift this. All right, so here's this, and now we need to remove these bolts. So once I remove these bolts, I believe I'm going to be able to just kind of, these bolts here. I think I can use a 10 millimeter. All right, 10 millimeter to loosen these guys. Actually loosen them a little bit. And then once I take these off, then we're going to see how this thing kind of can. So once I take these off, then I'll see how this whole kind of apparatus comes off. Alrighty, so just want to show you. So I removed this bolt and this bolt, and I just kept this bolt so you see what happens. But I'm just going to loosen this bolt with my fingers. Just a wee bit. Come on, you. All right. There we go. So once I do that, then everything, let me just get rid of this bolt here for a second. So as you can see, once I do that, everything just kind of comes off like so. Here's the shaft. It's just hanging right now by this thing here. And I can just kind of disconnect it here. So all of this kind of comes off, right? So I'm going to try to kind of pry this apart. And I'll probably need to also kind of undo this little, undo this tie here, so that all of this comes off, and then we're left with the hole here where we can put the delete plug. So I'm going to use my small screwdriver to take this apart first. I'm going to need some needle nose pliers for this, and it looks like I can also use some needle nose pliers for this thing here. So that's my next step, and I think after that I'll be able to kind of free this part, and then be able to put the delete plug on the hatch. First thing I'm going to do is actually, can you see that? Yeah, good. Remove this piece. There we go. So I just need to squeeze it. There it is. And now I'm going to take this thing off. Hopefully. Use these smaller pliers. I'm going to try to hold this at the same time. Trying to see how does this fit. Let's give it another go. Aha, okay. So, looks like what I needed to do is hold this here firmly as I pulled this out. So here we go. So here you see the whole rear wiper motor in assembly. Looks great, pretty good for being 30 years old. And let's show you, this is probably just gonna kind of get tucked in. Here's the hole, okay? Show you over here. There's the hole. And one more time. And I'm just going to install the plug loosely so you get a sense of what it looks like. So again, you saw in previous videos, but here's the plug, and I'm going to undo this nut. This is going to go onto the top, this part right here. This is going to go on the bottom. But you see how this fits? I actually have to take this nut off. And this bolt needs to then be bolted and installed into this piece here. There's a piece here for an Allen wrench, but I'm just going to put it in by hand for now so you get a sense of what it looks like, and then later on I can tighten it up. First things first, this part is going to go in like so. This bolt is going to go in from underneath. So give me a second, I'll install it and then I'll show you. Alright, so let me just show you what I did here. There we go. So I just installed that bolt onto the underside of the plug, and then this piece goes into there, and then I'm going to put the bolt on. So let me do that, and then I'll show you. One of the things that's important here is to make sure the O-rings are not too tightened up. Looks like I need 3 hands. There we go. Here's my fingernail. And you also want to make sure that the O-rings are well placed. Alright, a little tricky to do with only 2 hands, but looks like I got it done. And it just needs to be tightened up a little bit. But just to show you, there it is. Just needs to be tightened up, and this needs to be tucked away. And there you go. That's what the delete plug looks like.